This is my Windows laptop from 2019. It's a ThinkPad running Intel Core i5 6200 CPU. And this is my M1 MacBook Pro 14 inches. And this is why I switched. As a lifelong Windows user, I knew it was about time that I updated my computer. As my workload grew, so did my needs. My ThinkPad was only running with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, if you're doing just light graphic design work like I was doing at the time, I was mainly using software like InDesign, Illustrator, and sometimes a little bit of Photoshop. For many years, it worked great. But then as I advanced into UX design, it meant that I had to run multiple of those apps at the same time. So I was running Adobe XD, Photoshop, and sometimes Figma at the same time. Sometimes these apps would just all crash, and I would have to basically restart my computer just to get my work going. Now, to make things worse, this was the year I said, Jean, you're going to get to do all the things that you thought you were never going to get done. I started my own YouTube channel, but that is when everything just sort of came crashing down. The laptop could not make it through 1 minute of trying to render a video. If you added even the little bit of color grading, you're done. Every time I had to export the video, it would drain the battery in 60 seconds. And the laptop would be so loud, you could hear the fans from the next room. So I said, I have to get something, that is going to grow with me and continue hopefully with this YouTube channel for a much, much longer time. Now, in order to get to where I was, I had to research so many laptops because I really like the ThinkPad lineup. I think they're very sturdy, they feel good. I like the matte black finish. But I really wanted to take the time to actually think through my decision. And I went through so many configurations of Windows laptops and I did more research. I watched so many YouTube videos. Thank you guys. One thing I noticed that is like a common theme with all these Windows laptops, especially running the Intel chips, that they get hot. I really wanted to stay away from that. I want to stay away from the fans, the heat, the kind of noise because I've been dealing with it for a couple of years now and I really wanted something that could run the apps that I needed without, falling apart. I'm working with my laptop on my lap a lot of the time. So I wanted something that would work better battery life, better cooling system, so which would make the laptop basically silent. Now, I didn't want to make the same mistake that I made in 2018. I decided to cut costs by skimping on the specs, and I wanted to make sure that I made a very deliberate purchase in my choices in order to get the right thing. Now, this time around, I decided to spec out every brand that I could think of. I wanted Lenovo, so I stuck with it. And every time I did it, I wanted to build out a custom spec, but the price, I believe it was even over 2,500 in all of the options I was seeing because I wanted a bright screen, I wanted good battery, I wanted extra RAM, I wanted extra storage, I wanted a very bright screen, with better color accuracy. And no matter what I did, the price was still way up there. And I never thought in my entire life I would ever get a Windows laptop that was way more expensive than a MacBook. Because to me, in my mind, Apple computers are the most expensive on the market. Now, coming from a Windows machine, I struggled to actually get acquainted with the Apple system. I wanted to sort of learn how to use this like a kid in kindergarten all over again. So I had to watch tutorials to how to get some things done, like snapping to Windows, using multiple desktop because you can swipe back and forth between them, which is not something I used a lot on my Windows system. Now, this spec is actually the 10 core CPU with 16 gigs of RAM. I am in no way a pro user, but I figured this would give me enough room to grow. This would work sufficiently enough for me, at least for the next 4 years, while still doing my UX design work. So, is the M1 MacBook worth it a whole year later? I am here to tell you it is. I love the design of this laptop. It feels sturdy, it's got a bit of weight to it. I like the space gray. The screen gets nice and bright. This liquid retina XDR display is great for color, especially when you're editing. I never thought how much of a difference it would make using my previous screen for UX design, especially because I have to do with a lot of colors, color management, color theory. And now moving to this display and how the colors just look so much brighter, there's better contrast. It's basically design heaven for me. Now, the one thing I was a little bit hesitant on was the notch. From all the reviews I was watching, everyone was sort of complaining about the notch. But I have to tell you, from the moment I turned this thing on, it had this automated, the automatic wallpaper thing, and I kind of like stuck with it. I didn't even notice it. I think I noticed it for like the first day, and I just checked to see if the mouse would sort of like go behind it and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's actually weird. But then I just forgot about it after that. Another thing I really want to point out is that the build quality of this laptop is actually top notch. It feels sturdy, premium built laptop. The hinge is awesome. I always do this. The hinge has no flex. The screen barely has any flex. And I feel like this is something you could hold on to for a long time. I was really surprised by the weight of the laptop. I didn't actually think it would be, this heavy. Before I actually made the purchase, I remember going over to the Apple store in Cupertino and I had to like hold them, to kind of like feel the weight. Now, the 14-inch wasn't even in the store at the time when I went to check it out, but the 16-inch was there. And when I lifted that thing, I was like, whoa, people actually carry this thing around voluntarily. Nobody told them you have to go get this thing, but that thing is heavy. I mean, I can't even imagine putting that thing in a backpack with all my other supplies and then lugging that thing around on a daily basis. I think this is enough because I'm coming from a super light laptop, and honestly, I couldn't do it. I don't know how people do it. Now, this machine really offers powerful performance, and it's even better for a creative user like myself. I think one of the things that blew me off right away was just how energy efficient this computer is. Now, when I turned it on the first time, I got up to 20 hours of battery life on this thing. As soon as I turned it on and set it up to my user flow, the only thing I had to do was I just had to finish up a previous video. And then all I did was just watch videos and movies and watch YouTube content for like about like almost a whole day. And I realized that I had used the laptop from the night before to the next night without needing to charge it. And it blew my mind because on my Windows laptop, I would get 6 hours max. On this one, from one evening to the next evening and the next day without charging the laptop. This was my very first experience with this laptop. And I said, you know what, Jean? The money was worth it. Now, the thing I think most people, especially if you're starting out like myself, I just started this YouTube channel. I think I only have about 10 videos on the channel so far. I really wanted to see how it would work with DaVinci Resolve. I am fairly new at using DaVinci Resolve. I don't even think I used it for like my first 2, 3 videos. But with this one, the last video I did when I made the video for the Pixel Buds Pro, linked up here, don't forget, I it was my first time really trying to do more with a video. I'm gonna shoot way more B-roll because before I never even bothered to try with the B-roll. I even did a wee bit of color grading. I'm still not there. Please do not judge me. And this laptop, I believe, is going to afford me the room to actually experiment with all these things and maybe learn more about DaVinci Resolve, extra plugins, all the color grading. But the one thing I think is really good, like every time I kept on adding layers, the colors, the animations, the transitions, I noticed like I was still scrubbing through the footage like butter. It was smooth, no hiccups. On my phone, I film in 4K at 30 FPS. I think that was the same for Pixel 6 and the Pixel 3. Yeah, that's basically what I use. Now, my last video, the Pixel Buds Pro review video, it took me 1 minute to export that video. In comparison, my ThinkPad could take hours to export the video. And that's if it didn't even crash. It would drain the battery within a few minutes. It would crash. I would have to come back, restart the laptop, plug it in to charge it up, get a fan, mount it next to the laptop. And at some point, I felt like I had to quit. I had to give up. Before I keep, raving on about this laptop, here's the thing that I like about it. The ports. The ports are there. Everything is there. I like that. Extra USB-C ports. The MagSafe. By the way, the magnets on the MagSafe are insane. I think I might want to use like a USB port because I don't like struggling with it. I don't know if maybe there's a kind of trick to it, but I'll figure that one out. But my little gripe with this laptop, no USB-A port. I never realized how many things I own that require USB port until this laptop. I'm still sort of figuring out a little hack for it, but now all I do is just transfer my videos onto my SSD and then onto the laptop. Now, to cap things off, I made my purchase from Apple's certified refurbished store. I didn't think I would say that one straight. They have refurbished laptops on there. And I was a little bit hesitant to do that because I thought I was going to get the laptop with a lot of wear and tear on it, with zero original packaging because I've never seen how the products look like when you're getting it from the store. So this time around, I said, I'm going to try it because they had good deals on there. I got lucky because the first option I wanted to get sold out. There's usually just one available option for anything that you're going to get, and sometimes the configuration you want is not even there. So the one I originally wanted, which was the 12-core CPU one, and I got this one from there, and I was very lucky. I'm not going to say the price I paid for it, but it was much less than what it goes for the original price, and I was thankful for that. I know there's so many deals out there right now because we're literally in the holiday season, and if you're someone who has been looking for a better computer and you're so scared to make the purchase because it's so expensive, yes, they are expensive. One thing I have learned from personal experience is that if you skimp on the money now, you're going to pay for it later because as we use software every day, especially as a creative person, the software is constantly getting updates. Now, with all of these updates, your computer is being left behind. So it gets harder and harder for your computer to run those softwares. So I have to future proof myself. I don't want to buy another laptop in 3 years or 2 years. I need this machine. This is an investment for my future and I need it to last for the long haul. So there you have it, guys. I think the 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro is still worth it today. It's a good purchase. I don't know what the M2s are going to look like. I know they're going to be better, but this machine is still a beast. And for all of its competitors, I am not sorry I spent the money because I'm very happy with it. The speakers are great. The screen is dope. My workflow has just been made so much smoother, especially now because I'm editing videos. I'm doing more of my design work. I am doing a podcast. I am happy with it. I can get everything done simultaneously. And I can tell you without a doubt, I have no regrets buying this laptop. And hands down, this purchase is still worth it today. Apple, you did good. I am happy I got to experience this laptop and bring my thoughts to you guys. But I still need tips on how to better my workflow and to work more efficiently on this thing. And if you have any tips and tricks, please leave them down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I will see you in the next one. Ooh, also, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Whatever you guys do, have fun. Enjoy.